Vegas, buzzing, feeling good. Gonna dive into Adobe Summit. Dive in Summit. Hoover's shining, so let's just keep on networking. Insights flowing. John Hughes representing. Connections made Hoover on the rise. So feast your eyes.
Hello, welcome back to the Hyvä YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about all things Adobe Summit 2024, and I've got my friend and colleague John Hughes with me, who's VP of Product here at Hyvä, and he's fresh from the event. I say fresh, he's had a week to decompress and chill and spend some time with his family after the madness of Vegas. But John, it's really awesome to speak to you. Thank you for joining me.
It's good to be here, thank you.
On your own YouTube channel where you've been more than me. Mm-hmm. Adobe Summit, obviously 2024 was a complete whirlwind. There was absolutely loads of innovation, insights, networking. I was very much tuned in from home, watching as many events as I could, and the keynotes, and, you know, chiming in on LinkedIn and just, you know, saying FOMO and how jealous I was of everyone there. But obviously you were in the thick of it, so give us the lowdown. How was the energy? How did it kick off?
Yeah, it was, I think the only way I can, like, the best way to start is it was just massive. Like, I was been lucky to go to like Magento Imagine in the past, and there were about 3,000 people. This was 11,000, I think. It was
Oh my God.
yeah, big. So you can't help but kind of feel the energy of just that many people. Like, obviously not all in the same room at once, but yeah.
Was it noisy? Like, was it like a constant hum?
In places, yeah, especially some of the larger areas, like the downstairs where everyone descended to eat, was quite noisy and loud. But yeah, no, it was good. It was a long conference. It's like 4 days in total, so it was full of lots and lots of things. So we started with a partner day on the Monday, and the pre-party that was run by Shipper HQ and people from the Magento Association there too. So it was a good kind of good start to the week with lots of commerce related stuff. Yeah, it was overall.
They always ran the pre-Imagine events as well, didn't they?
Yes.
And they were always. It was just nice to have a bit of an icebreaker before getting into the main event, and like definitely see people in a bit more of a social environment before it's the madness of the conference. Yeah. So what was it like connecting with people, seeing everyone IRL? Was there quite a few people that you'd not seen for a long time and new faces?
Yeah, it's good for me. It's the kind of the best part of any event is just going and connecting with real human beings. I think as like instead of just behind a computer on the internet. So it was a different crowd, obviously, with so many people from different parts of the Adobe community. Commerce was just kind of one smaller part, but yeah, there were lots of familiar faces, people I hadn't seen since before COVID, I think, in some cases. It's like five plus years ago. But yeah, there's lots of new people, even in the commerce space too, so that was good. And I have to give a little shout out to Torben from Basecom, who was kind of my conference buddy, if you like, for the week. We hung out and managed to navigate the conference together, and I ended up hanging around with quite a few of the German crew, so shout out to all of them as well. But yeah, it was good.
Love it.
Yeah, it's always the best part, like I say.
Yeah, it's nice, and I think especially because obviously Willem was supposed to be going with you, but unfortunately couldn't make it in the end. So it can be a little bit daunting when you first get there on your own. So it is nice to see those familiar faces and friendly people. And I always find that
definitely
I'm more scared going in to a big event like that. And then once you realise that everyone that's looking at you is smiling at you, and everyone's just happy to be there and happy to talk to you about anything, it is really nice once you get into it. So yeah, that's really cool. And obviously there's a growing love and support for Hyvä within the Magento and Adobe Commerce community, which obviously is just amazing. So what was it like for you representing Hyvä at the summit, and what moments stood out to you the most?
Representing Hyvä is always a pleasure. It's a privilege. I mean, I've been to plenty of events over the past few years previously as a partner agency working with Hyvä. But yeah, going as a Hyvä employee, as a representative, is great. There's so much nice feedback from people. You kind of have to watch your ego and keep it in check from all the positive comments. So that's always nice. So yeah, moments that kind of stood out the most. Had lots of meetings with existing and prospective partners. So we're trying to get more closer to some of our people in the US, so that was good and productive. And the other kind of thing that stood out the most for me while I was there is just trying to see how the landscape's shaping up with the edge delivery services and other things that Adobe are pushing forward with commerce, and where we fit in alongside that, especially higher up in the higher end of the market.
Yeah, 'cause that did seem to be the vibe of the event. Obviously, they had a lot of big announcements coming out of the event. Obviously, you've mentioned EDS, Edge Delivery Services, which was is a very interesting, obviously, announcement. But which are the ones caught your eye, and how do you think they'll impact the future of commerce and just all of us in general?
So yeah, obviously Edge Delivery Services was the main thing from the commerce side. I think now I've had more time to look at it, and I've had some feedback and input from others at Adobe. It's EDS is kind of a wider term for Adobe Experience Manager. It's a feature, just a way to deliver sites, but also there's this document-based authoring, which was a real kind of eye-opener. If you'd have told me the week before I went that one of the new ways to manage content and structure of a site was via Google Drive and Google Docs or Microsoft Word, I don't think I'd have believed you. It's definitely it's an interesting approach. I think it'll work well.
So it's the PG word there, isn't it? It's like, it's interesting, yes.
It's not for everybody, but I think it will have its use case. I can see where, like, some of the bigger kind of merchants, it will make sense. And then they've got the other kind of main thing that came alongside it is these commerce drop-ins, so they can be used with edge delivery services, but they can also be used separately, and they can be used just within Luma or even within Hyvä. And we're actually looking at the moment at how some of these things can potentially be integrated together, EDS and the drop-ins with Hyvä. So watch this space. We'll see how that plays out. So it's all very interesting on that side. And then maybe more kind of our more traditional type stuff, things of interest for us, especially with the B2B updates that are coming. So they'll be out, I think June time is now the intended date. So there's updates for company management. You can have like parent and child company structures and switch between them on the front end. There's new quoting features, so you can create template quotes that get auto approved and all sorts of other enhancements there. So that's good. And then there's the Adobe payment services as well. So that's now part of the core essentially with the new 247 release. There's again more coming there. What else was there?
What will the Adobe payment services enable? Will it be Apple Pay, Google Pay, obvioush GraphQL?
It's a full kind of payment suite. So it's card payments. It's essentially PayPal behind the scenes. It's card payments, PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay, lots of other things, all wrapped up in one kind of easy self-serve. I think the aim is for it to be kind of a self-serve, so you can just install Magento, go in and set up payment services directly from the admin panel. That's kind of the pitch, if you like.
Nice. Just the other bits that kind of highlighted as I've been reading, obviously, all of these many summaries and posts and stuff from other people. Obviously, there's been some integration extensions and things, like API builder, there's app builder, and the API mesh. Integration with IBM for order management. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. So there's the order management stuff which we've got some details on, but we'll see how that looks. But the app builder and the API mesh that goes with it originally, but at least my understanding previously is that was kind of touted as the next kind of thing to build storefronts with. Obviously now we've got edge delivery services and commerce drop-ins. App builder is kind of really being pushed and actually used in many cases as a way to build integrations, like more back-end integrations with Magento and other platforms. So a bit like with order management systems or stock management or whatever it is. They're being used in that scenario.
Magento has always been known for its extensibility and integration ability. So that's brilliant. And then the only other thing that I found really interesting because obviously, like I say, the majority of the events that we could watch was the keynotes, and they were all about AI. AI is obviously like the big kind of trending topic within just the creative industry, commerce industry, everything. And obviously they announced a few things to do with Firefly, with their content structure based images, which I instantly went and had a play with, which was really fun. I saw that you'd had a play with it as well. But what was it like there? What was the reaction to like the AI stuff?
Yeah, you could tell, especially on the more kind of marketing side, that people were very impressed. When it wasn't just the Firefly stuff. There was all these. I think there's a product called GenStudio, and then there was tons and tons of other products that will allow marketeers to like do workflows with AI and all sorts of things. So there's lots of things that are exciting to streamline stuff. But the Firefly definitely caught the eye from the kind of just the demo examples of taking one image and then creating loads of kind of clones, if you like, based on the structure or the style. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that they had like a can, didn't they? And it was like a kind of pop of some sort, and they put it on lots of different backgrounds and lots of different color tones and all that jazz, so you could pick. Yeah, mad. But yeah, like I said, I did watch a few of the sessions. They've since released all of the sessions, which is really, really like brilliant. I think that happened so quickly as well. Like they were just instantly like the next day up, it seemed. And there's over 200 sessions on there. I think there's something like 216 sessions. So if you're interested in watching them, not now, but after this amazing video that you're already watching, we will drop a link in below so you can go and see all of the 216 sessions. Obviously not just commerce sessions, as all of Adobe's product suite covered in many varying formats. And obviously we actually got a mention on one of the talks as well.
We did.
From Nestlé, and you missed it.
I missed it, it was
too many to choose from.
Too many talks, and unfortunately two of the commerce ones at the same time. I was in the B2B workshop learning about the new B2B features when that happened, unfortunately.
Yeah,
there you go.
Which, to be fair, I think even anyone, like, especially for us at Hyvä, we would always pick to go to the B2B one, despite Nestlé being one of our clients and who uses our theme for their storefronts. But it was nice to watch it back, to be honest, and hear the shout out from them. But again, I'll link to that in the show notes if you're wanting to watch and see that and see how they were actually talking about commerce extensibility and different things like that. So yeah, it's an interesting talk. It's really good. But how many talks did you actually go to? Do you know, like off the top of your head?
Probably
of the 216.
Around 200, probably only around 5 to 10 actual talks. So being on site at Summit, there were also what are called hands-on labs, which I don't think are recorded at all. So they were some of the most useful. So we went to hands-on labs for the B2B that I just mentioned, and also for Edge delivery services. We've got hands-on actually building sites using Google Docs.
So what do you actually just fun. Sit? Like, do you have your own computer, or how does it work?
you get given a computer. There's rows of computers that you can go and pick, and they're all linked up and synced up, and you get given a list of things to go through, and then you've got a couple of teachers in the room to help. There's people from the Adobe Commerce team there on hand. So it was good learning experiences.
Did it feel like going back to school? Sitting in the class, like, please help me. That'd be me. I'd be like, I don't understand.
So they were really beneficial to go to. Yeah, they were good.
That's an interesting way, I think, of giving, showing, and actually it's way more memorable, isn't it, when you're actually able to get in, especially when there's that many different talks. It can be exhausting. Plus, just the general scale of the event, walking between the talks can sometimes just be knackering. Out of all of the ones that you did see, which one would you say was your favourite?
So if I think of the talks rather than the hands-on labs, the most useful, beneficial talk from my perspective or our perspective was definitely the Adobe Commerce 2024 roadmap session, which had just an hour full of information. So that was
a really long session, wasn't it?
And then in terms of just a more kind of inspirational type talk, I went on the final day. There was a talk with Canon, camera manufacturer, who converted all of their American and probably other territories as well, potentially, to Adobe Commerce from a really outdated platform, to kind of combine 3 sites into one. So like general users, professionals, and like B2B business stuff, all into one site. So that was interesting to see how that went, and how they've massively improved all the key metrics you want to improve, conversion and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, awesome. I'll have to check that one out. So yeah, obviously loads of new technologies, and Adobe definitely seemed to solidify their plans to move towards this SaaS-based microservices approach, maybe away from the monolith. And you know, that will work for, I think, some merchants, but I don't think it's the right merchant. For probably the majority of merchants, I would say it's not always going to be the right approach. And as much as they're interesting and like even inspiring, these, like obviously, like you say, us at Hyvä, we've been diving into them and seeing how we can integrate and kind of take advantage of these new offerings, even with them leaning towards the Adobe Experience Cloud Suite, which has a very hefty price tag on it. But with Adobe obviously eyeing up this upper market, where do you think this leaves Magento Open Source and obviously our vast community around it?
Sure. So yeah, it is definitely most of the new stuff, the edge delivery services and the document-based authoring, they do require an Adobe Experience Manager license. So yeah, it is a different market essentially. Like I said, it's not going to be for everybody. In terms of where it leaves Magento Open Source, and I would also kind of add into that Adobe Commerce as a monolith, if you like, not just with all these new things on top. Kind of leaves it kind of in my opinion in the same place it has been for quite some time. There's not really any change. What I would say though is
scary.
Not scary. No. What I would say is, especially at the moment, I'm sure it'll change 5-10 years down the line. But right now, even edge delivery service based sites that are on Adobe Commerce, they're still using the monolith. They still depend on it. For example, one of the key edge delivery service sites that was demoed is actually most of the site was running on PWA Studio with Magento, with Adobe Commerce in the background. So yeah, it's still there and it's still needed. So it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And I feel like for those where edge delivery service and commerce drop-ins and that side of things isn't going to be suitable, and like I say, it's only for a smaller segment of the upper market, then I think we're kind of nicely positioned to come and come in and provide that solution where people want performance and simplicity and reduced costs and ownership and all that kind of stuff. Because Luma isn't really getting any more love in terms of features or any like major improvements outside of security and smaller performance fixes, mainly back end anyway. So we're nicely positioned there, and I think the key thing that we need to do going forward collectively, and I don't mean we as in Hyvä, I mean the Magento ecosystem, is try and market the product, because unfortunately Adobe aren't going to market that. They are focused on their Adobe Commerce product only. Whilst they use Magento as a base, they're not spending any real marketing budget, if you like, in terms of promoting Magento Open Source as a solution on its own.
Yeah, it's almost as if Adobe are Magento Open Source's biggest client. Like they're our biggest like kind of proof point of how powerful this platform is, because look how much they're relying on us to do everything that they want to do for that higher market. Imagine what we could do for the lower market is what the message I'd be saying. Around that, and that just popped into my head randomly, but when you were speaking, but that is the kind of vibe that I think, like you say, we're not going anywhere. The platform is super stable and super strong, so much so that Adobe's off imagining what it can do with it. And obviously going on to the write-ups and stuff that we've had, obviously you wrote a really incredible and honest summary from the summit, which again I will link in the show notes below. But you obviously touched on that crucial role of marketing and the joint efforts of the Magento Association and Mage-OS, and just like you say, pushing it forward together. I think what would be great to cover is just how important these initiatives are, to get Magento at the forefront, obviously, of everyone's minds, and how can others get support and get involved in this as well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, we'll fully turn this into a Mage-OS
We're going,
pitch.
we're going all out. We're going across all. We're pitching everything.
Yeah.
I think it's just an honest conversation.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I love talking about this because I feel like I'm still getting to grips with everything myself. With being new to Hyvä, and obviously I've been in the Magento space a long time, but I just love talking about it, love hearing people's opinions. So yes, I will stop rambling and let you share your own opinion.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, no, it is important. It is great that so many people from the ecosystem, whether it's agencies or technology partners or solution providers like ourselves, all coming together to try and think about inventive ways to try and promote Magento a little bit more with obviously a more limited budget. It's mostly voluntary time at the moment. Obviously, Mage-OS and Magento Association are looking at trying to get funding to try and improve the situation. But yeah, it's in a good place. We're making great progress. I think if people just want to get involved, they just need to head over to the Mage-OS and Magento Association websites. There's lots of pointers on how you can get involved with just weekly meetings for things like content and marketing, technical innovations that are happening as well. There's lots and lots going on. So it's an exciting time. I think it's also key that the kind of agencies and stuff continue to assist merchants in the platform selection. So, Magento or Adobe Commerce, whether with Hyvä or not, it's not always going to be right, but a lot of times it is going to be right. And helping with the platform selection is definitely something that's key to make sure that merchants still aware that it's a great solution that's going to hopefully fit their needs in many, many cases.
Definitely. I think you're absolutely right there. And no contribution is too small. Like any positive words or anything that we can just share together, I think is going to be super useful. Like showcases, there's absolutely loads of amazing examples in our community of innovation, and just using the platform on the day-to-day to do amazing things for businesses. I think we're kind of coming towards the end now of our chat, to be fair, and obviously wrapping it up. We can't forget that it's obviously not just about the tech. It's not just about the innovation and the technology. It's the people. It's always been the people. Yep. And everything, the dedication that comes from everyone involved is what keeps the Magento spirit alive and thriving, and and keeps us all on the edge of our seats wanting to know more. So before we go, it'd be amazing if you could just share any takeaways or advice for our listeners who are exploring Hyvä, Adobe Commerce, or Magento Open Source, and just everything that's on our roster here. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, sure. I think the key thing is just kind of go for it, get involved, ask questions. This community, I think you mentioned at the start from events in the past stuff, that everyone's extremely friendly and welcoming and supportive. We're encourage new people to join. We want new people to join. So yeah, I think that's important. And for Hyvä specifically, we're just continuing in our mission to kind of make Magento Open Source and Adobe Commerce accessible to as many people as possible, from like the SMB, small medium business, all the way up to and including the larger enterprises. We're here to kind of offer a solution that's that makes sense. So obviously performance is kind of the main reason we started, but we're also about just simplicity and also enjoyment to a point. It should be fun to work with our platform, but yeah, simplicity in terms of just less code. We don't subscribe to the massively complicated architectures. We try and keep things as simple as possible, as easy to maintain, and lower cost to build and support. So yeah, just the simplicity is kind of like the key word I like to use.
Yeah, absolutely. Simple but powerful, I think. Yeah, it makes a huge difference, because it means that you're not then. You can use your brain power. You can use the work to do more interesting and exciting things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Around it, and yeah. So I think definitely there's a lot to say for simplicity on the things that we know how to do, we know how to make it work. So then you can go have fun everywhere else and not have to stress that, well, I need to worry about core web vitals or performance or anything like that, or the weight of everything that's happening on the site. So thank you for that. Bro, I think we've got to the end of our Google Doc. There's no more questions.
Excellent.
But yeah, I mean, to everyone watching, thank you so much for tuning in. If you've got any questions, if there's anything we've missed or skipped over a bit too quickly, do just comment and we will jump straight on it, or feel free to tag us. You can find me on every single social media platform known to man. Just search Rebecca Brockton, I'm sure I'll pop up somewhere. And John, I'll let you tell people where they can find you.
LinkedIn or Twitter, probably LinkedIn more these days. I try and keep up to date on Twitter, but I'm failing miserably, if I'm honest.
I'm struggling with Twitter, but LinkedIn is the place to be, I feel, at the minute. But absolutely feel free to reach out or post a comment, and we'll happily share more insights that we've got from you. There is also a blog post coming soon. If it's actually probably already up, because it'll probably come first before this video is edited. We've wrote a big summary document where we pulled in all of the information, unpacked everything from John's brain into a Adobe Summit blog post, and we also pulled in some community voices as well, just from generally looking around in the community and seeing what people were saying about the event, what they were covering. So go check that out as well, which we will also post a link to that in the show notes when it's up. But yes, thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
You too.
And go. I need to come up with like a closing. Like what do we say? Like Hoover needs like a slogan. All right, we'll think of a slogan and then we'll let you know next video what it is. And I'm taking suggestions. Over and out.